Hey everyone, James Lynch here. It appears that we may have the main event booked for UFC Rio taking place October 11th in Brazil, and that would be former lightweight champion Charles Oliveira taking on Rafael Fiziev. What a fight. This according to Laurent Viana. I hope I'm saying his name right, but this is a journalist that's broken a number of stories over the last little bit. He, for example, had the news about Paulo Costa and Roman Coppola being off UFC 317. He's booked a number of, had a number of fights that are booked. So this guy seems legit. And I did a little bit of digging this morning. It does seem like this fight is going to be happening here. So, why not do a video and talk about it? Great fight for both guys. Really like this matchup. I know some people wanted Oliveira and Max Holloway, but I think for Fiziev, I almost feel like this is a way of kind of, giving back to the UFC, because he did the UFC a favor a couple fights back with him fighting Gaethje on short notice. Justin Gaethje, that is, ended up losing that fight. He fought Bahamotes in his last fight, which was sort of, trying to build up Bahamotes, and Fiziev did that as well. He's never really turned down fights, so I feel like this is the UFC kind of rewarding him for that. And for Charles Oliveira, I think any fight against any of these guys in the weight class is going to be exciting. Again, I think people might have wanted the Max Holloway fight, but I'm totally fine with this. And I think from a stylistic perspective, this fight is absolutely awesome. Let's look at the rankings. I am kind of curious to see where these guys are ranked right now. I believe Oliveira is still ranked near the top. So he's number 4, and you've got Fiziev, who's ranked number 10. I'm assuming a lot of these other guys are booked. Like, I think Arman, they're trying to figure out what they're doing with him. Holloway's sort of one name out there. Gaethje, we're waiting to see what's happening there. I think the big thing, though, is if you're doing this card in Brazil, you need a big name here, and Charles Oliveira fits that bill. I'm trying to remember the last time Oliveira fought in a fight night, though. I feel like he's mainly done pay-per-views since then. But anyways, let's do a quick tail of the tape between these two. We got Charles Oliveira, who's 35 years old, 5'10" with a 74-inch reach. You got Rafael Fiziev, who's 13-4, 32 years old, 5'8" with a 71.5-inch reach. So Oliveira going to be a little bit taller. He's also going to have the reach advantage. And Oliveira is 3 years older than Fiziev. Of course, Oliveira coming off that loss to Ilia Topuria, getting knocked out in the first round. I'm trying to think how long it was that so you have to go all the way back to the Kevin Lee fight, actually, which was also in Brazil, if I'm not mistaken. That was in Brazil back in 2020. That's the last time that Oliveira fought in a fight night card. He's fought at pay-per-views ever since then. So pretty incredible, the run that Oliveira's been on. We know all about Charles Oliveira. Don't have to go into too much detail here. The guy's a finisher, but he's lost 2 of his last 3. So really pivotal fight here. He's, I don't think he's lost back-to-back fights in quite some time. You have to go all the way back to 2016, the last time he's lost back-to-back fights. So big fight here for Oliveira. And then for Fiziev, had a bit of a slide there just because, remember, he lost to Gaethje and then obviously to Gamrot, and then had the 2 losses to Gaethje and then Gamrot as well. The Gamrot fight was kind of an injury, though. Would like to see that fight run back at some point, and then beat Bahamotes in his last fight. Very impressive performance there. So he's 2-2 in his last 4, but prior to that was on a nice win streak. As far as an early pick in this one, I think I'm leaning Fiziev. A little bit younger, does have some knockout power. I do worry about Oliveira's durability over the years. One of the reasons I did pick Ilia Topuria in that last fight was the striking defense for Oliveira, hasn't been there. Even when he was champion, he was getting hit a lot. I think with Fiziev, he could find the mark and possibly knock him out, but could also see this fight going the distance with Fiziev just landing the better shots and winning this one. This is a fight I will definitely do an early look on. And just want to preface this again by saying that this isn't 100% official, but like I said, what I'm hearing this morning is it does sound pretty good that this fight is going to happen, and I think it makes a ton of sense. So I think the big question now is who's Max Holloway going to fight next? What about Justin Gaethje? You've got Arman. There's a lot, Dan Hooker. There's a lot of musical chairs going on at lightweight right now. We'll have to see how the UFC books this, but great main event if it does end up coming to fruition. And like I said, my early pick right now is Rafael Fiziev. So let me know in the comments what you think of this fight. Does this fight make sense? Who are you picking? And again, 5-round main event is what we're hearing. So, I think both guys have been, obviously Oliveira's been in a lot of main events. Fiziev's, I think, been in a couple main events as well. So liking this matchup. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, @LynchOnSports. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.